highway. 227. Preacher gang. Skip it. Acquire taste for the finer things, the finer cuisine, while others do it online for the streams, posting comments and memes. Love the sound when that money corner cha-ching. It's concrete, you know the drama we bring. Me and Kinda Machine embody the mafia thing. What else? Now my Damier Louboutin is supreme. Are you in Detroit, Motor City? I run DMC.
Alright guys, so here's the deal. I'm gonna do 6 miles warm up in these New Balance SC Trainer V2, and then we're gonna get into the meat of today's workout, which is gonna be a 16 by 400, and I'm using this to test all of the different fast shoes that I have in my rotation right now. So the whole point of me doing this was to see how the Alphafly does at 5K race pace, and so for me right now, I don't really know what my 5K race pace is. I haven't raced a hard 5K in a long time, but based on my last half marathon result, my pace was around 6:04, 6:05 for that half. So my half marathon race pace using one of those calculators should be about, I don't know, 5:30 something. So I'm gonna try to get down to 5:30 pace for these reps, test the Alphafly at 5:30 pace, test some of these other shoes at 5:30 pace. We'll see how fast I can go. I haven't really been working this pace range at all. The fastest I've gone recently is lactate threshold pace, which for me is around 550. I've done some 540 miles, but I haven't really been working this top end speed, which I know is super bad. Lydiard would not be proud of me. So today we're gonna go out there, work some of that top end speed after this warm up and see how Alphafly does versus the Takumi Sen, Saucony Endorphin Pro 3, and the Vaporfly 3. So I'm gonna get this warm up in the SC Trainers, warm up my legs, do a little bit of strides, get used to running in the plated shoe. Let's get into it.
OG bro, I smoke that chronic, I pull up something iconic, born fine and sipping wine in Napa Valley. When I found it, hell bent on driving it, heaven sent me to buy it. I keep money piling up and feeding all of my desires. She drowning in the fountain of flyness, I am the real. He tried to...
Got the Christmas tree out here. Bye-bye Christmas.
The way I rate like this boy, I got them skills.
These are all the guys we got today. Alphafly, Vaporfly 3, Saucony Endorphin Pro 3, Adidas Takumi Sen 8. I'm gonna start in the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3, go from least aggressive to most aggressive. So Pro 3, Vaporfly 3, Takumi Sen 8, and then end in the Alphafly 3.
If you ain't bought no rollers for your dogs, you ain't a boss at all. We on the jet, fitting to take off. We watching Charles and Charles collaboration like that big with cars. I'm rolling up them rolls.
Boom. Gloves are staying on though. Anything below 50 degrees, we gotta do the gloves. One bite, everybody knows the rules. I'm just kidding. But before we get into it, let me explain the ground rules here. My goal is to get up to 5K working pace in all of these shoes, but also, like I mentioned, I haven't been working at those sub 545 paces a lot recently, and I don't want to get injured. I'm doing a ton of volume. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off slower through each of these sets. So doing 4 reps in each set. So I'll probably start off about 550 on the first rep and then progress it down to that 530-ish pace, which will also give me an opportunity to see how these shoes feel at the variety of race paces across all these shoes. So I'll have 16 reps in total, so I'll be able to see how each shoe feels at each race pace and also how my body responds differently to each shoe. Now, of course, I'm gonna be a little bit more tired at the end of these, so I'm designing this workout so that I have enough time to recover in between using each shoe. So I'm gonna do the 400-meter working set down, then I'm gonna do a nice recovery jog back. That should give a few minutes of rest. And when I'm done with the 4 reps in between each, I'm gonna go inside, change my shoes. I left the shoes in there. So that should give me a little bit of time to recover and to feel fresh before I go into the next hard set with the shoes. Also might grab some nutrition at some point during this because I'm a little bit hungry, and this is not a workout where I want to be going complete glycogen depletion. I'm doing this to test the pace of these shoes. So with that, let me crank up some tunes for you. Let's get into this first set.
Paintbrush out to move a muscle. Came from Bootham Bundle, spit in your face, but I'm super humble. I've been ahead of y'all, my metaphors, Beretta wars. All St. Levis on my feet, need an extra arm. Cocaine megalores, bagging in Vanetta stores, your head gets severed off. Don't bug me unless a check involved. Philippe Beijing with some extra sauce, stayed on the reservoir. Crossing over Pasadena, high times, Farragut.
just finished my first working, I'm out of breath still. Just finished my first working set. That was the Pro 3. So 4 reps. First rep was way too slow. I think I was at 6 flat. Next rep was way too fast. I came out at around 5:10. So I guess I still do have a little bit of my top end speed, but then I settled into it. The end of rep 2 and then rep 3 and 4 were all around 5:25 to 5:35. So thoughts on the Pro 3 here. They still feel best to me at those jogging paces. The shoe just doesn't have that bite that I want for when I'm really trying to dig in and hit that 5:30 pace. It just feels a little mushy. Now granted, this pair has about 250 miles on it, I believe, and I do have another pair of these with only 50 miles, so I probably should have brought them out here today. But I don't think the character of these has changed all too much from when I first got them. I still think they're the least aggressive of this bunch, especially when compared to the Alphafly 3, and they just don't have that little bit of extra pop that I want when trying to hit my fastest paces. All right, so I'm gonna catch my breath, go in there, flip into the Vaporfly 3, hopefully let my heart rate settle down a bit, and then we'll hit the next set in those Vaporflies. All right guys, got the Vaporflies on. On step in, they just feel a little bit livelier. So I'm gonna get this next set in. Let's see how they do out there.
Yeah. 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 I dig my baby. I know that you should. Spend it too petty. How you gonna meet the plug? Same sneak this, see me, give me a hug. Weird location cap, why you trolling the hood? These ain't big, man, but I love you, so I don't know. Purple lines in my dream, too much walk in my crib. Where I'm from, you ain't indicted, you ain't ballin' hood. I got nothing but some money, ain't no game I can run. Say the word, I have my shorty strip you out.
Alright, just finished those reps in the Vaporfly. These are still kink for me. They have just the right amount of cushion, just the right amount of snap. I can feel the plate when I want to dig in, but not too much. And I love that on toe off, I can feel the ground just a little bit. My pacing is still pretty good. I think one of those reps I fell off a little bit. I hit 550, and the last rep I came back at 520. There is a slight incline in front of my house here. I was planning to go to the park and do this, but I was up till 1:30 a.m. last night editing the shoe planning 2024 video, so I was not able to get up early enough to go to the park and then work. So we're doing it here with the slight incline. It's a little bit demoralizing at the end of each rep because it's a grade uphill and you just see the pace tank. But hit 520 something on that last rep, feeling pretty good. Gonna get a little bit of fuel before I hit the Takumi Sen. It'll be really interesting to see how it is to go from the Vaporfly to Takumi Sen, because that one is a lot more aggressive feeling, a lot lower stack, and I think the fastest feeling shoe in my rotation. So let's do it. No, that was a horrible pour. It's kind of an awkward thing to do, but I can never get it quite right. Maybe I should find a different spoon for this. It's got all the good stuff, man. 100 calories, basically just straight carbs here, 25 grams of carbs, and you got some of the electrolytes here. This is what I bring for all my long runs. Sometimes I'll drop a noon caffeine in there, but just a nice little sugar boost to keep me going this morning, because we've been doing 16 total miles of volume here. Like I said, not trying to completely deplete myself, just trying to get some good stressors in this morning, but be able to recover for potentially a double today, and then a lot more volume this week. Now this is like trying to squeeze a sausage back into its casing. These things are not friendly for my feet. Huh, honestly, it's not the toe box, it's the midfoot. The midfoot is just, ugh. And you gotta crank these down as tight as possible. Let's go. All right, Takumi Sens are on. And I definitely cooled down enough because I'm actually a little bit chilly again out here. So this is going to be our third set. Was feeling it a little bit on number 2, and I think I got enough juice to push through and still hit these 530s. We shall see, but these Takumi Sens are gonna be a little bit lighter than the last 2 shoes, and hopefully can help me dig in to hit some nice 5K speed here. Let's do it.
Sergio, no Ticini, plug do Gianni, no Versace. Still serving blow out the guinea, stepping on the coke like a pair of Rachis. And it's busy running up a check with them 36s and them RKLs. Heard that tell a lot of shark tales, and I'm really not that impressed. Me and 30.
Oh man, just finished the set in the Takumi Sen 8. It's gotten a lot tougher to hit the pace. Hit some 520s in there, also hit some 540s. Lost a little bit of focus on the last rep, which is not acceptable. I'll give you my full thoughts after because it's game time now. I gotta get those Alphafly 3s on and I want to just lock in and crush some pace here. But thoughts on Takumi Sen versus those first two shoes are these are definitely better at faster paces, definitely better when I'm just digging in. And this is a shoe that really wants you to land on the forefoot versus the Vaporfly and the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. A little bit friendlier for heel strikers. And those first two shoes are also a little bit friendlier for those slower paces, which for me is gonna be 6 flat to 630. All right, let's get those Alphafly 3 on. All right, man, we got the Alphaflies on. This is where it gets tough. Last set. But you know what? It's a beautiful day. It's a privilege to be out here in the burbs, grinding out these 400s. Let's get in this work.
This why going around? Yeah. Look, if I'm being honest, I ain't dead or in jail. I ain't tripping, so I know that it's a win. Acting like I ain't that, so we all just gon' pretend. Flipping weight to real estate, I'm corporate thugging to the end. If I'm being honest, I done came a long way from Lunkin Road, sleeping on my granny couch. $1,000 in my pocket, in my socket. If I'm being honest, you know these bitches see a real out, and they ready to risk it all. Don't mind me, I'm focused, I'm just trying not to fall. I can see the goal line.
Still got some 520s in me. Last one, baby. Let's go.
They try and make it by them, but it really did it on its own. Could've got a life sentence just for talking on the phone. You can tell them just love me or leave me alone. Headed to the other side, yeah, that's where the plug stay.
All right, guys. Just finished up. That was the last working set. Alphafly 3 is what we've all been waiting for, and I'll stick to what I said in my first few videos with this shoe. This is not a comfortable shoe, man. This thing really wants me up on my forefoot. It feels like there's nothing to land on in the heel area, and I know they've extended the foam a little bit to the back and made it one piece, but it still feels like I'm landing on top of the pods with nothing to support in the back, and it almost makes the shoe feel like a negative drop shoe where you're going uphill a little bit, and that really works my calves, especially as a heel striker. However, this shoe is speed at all costs because I was able to hit my paces on the last 2 reps here. Now it's of course second wind, you get that little bit of juice. I always get that little bit of juice at the end here, but I hit 522 and 529 on the last 2 reps there, and I've totaled 14 miles of volume already today, so on some pretty tired legs, and that's exactly what the shoe is designed for, running fast on tired legs in the later stages of a marathon to hit a PR. So still accomplishing its goal. I would still take the Vaporfly for a 5K. This shoe just doesn't really work for my foot strike, but I think if you are a forefoot striker who can hold these sub 6 minute paces, sub 650 paces for the marathon, you might be in good shape with the Alphafly 3. So alright guys, I'm gonna take the Alphafly 3s off, get a cool down in the SC Trainer V2, and then later today we'll hit the office to do a breakdown of how the paces felt at all these shoes and give my final thoughts on where these racers slot in and how they might work into your racing rotation in 2024. What's up guys? Long day, first day back at the day job. I hope everyone out there had a good first day back of work. 2024, it's never easy getting back to work after the break, but we gotta do it. And my paternity leave is coming up soon, which means I'll have a little bit of time off from that day job, and we're gonna be cranking on this supple and content business for the next few months. Anyway, as promised, back in the office now, everyone's sleeping. So I wanted to do a little bit of a breakdown of all of these shoes that I ran in today and highlight which of these are gonna be best at specific price ranges, give my thoughts on the workout, give my thoughts on the shoes. So first up, I'm gonna dive into the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. So Pro 3 here, this one felt the best at warm-up paces, and of all these shoes, this is definitely the most natural feeling. So I did my warm-up and my cool down in the SC Trainer V2, and this Pro 3 isn't too far off in feeling from a plated training shoe like the SC Trainer V2. Now this one has a little bit of a firmer ride from the foam that they're using here, the New Balance Fuel Cell. It's a little bit softer, but overall this doesn't have that super harsh feeling that a lot of these plated trainers have, even compared to the Vaporfly or Alphafly. So that's why this one is my top pick for recreational runners. For me, this feels best at marathon pace and slower, so it's 6:30 and slower. When I was digging into faster than that, this just didn't really have that zip that I wanted. And it's not really a great 5K racing shoe for the paces that I'm trying to hit right now. Just a little too much cushioning and protection underfoot. It's gonna be much better for me for a half marathon or marathon. So I do think the Alphafly is a better shoe for those speedier efforts for me and for any runners who are gonna be hitting sub 6-minute paces. Now, if you aren't gonna be hitting sub 6-minute paces in your 5K, 10K, half marathon, or marathon, this is a good do-it-all racing shoe that is pretty comfortable, and that's gonna be one of the main benefits of it. This is the most comfortable out of the bunch, but not the fastest, and that definitely reflects in my splits here. So I was able to hit a few 520s, but my legs were also fresh, so I'm gonna attribute that mostly to my fresh legs and not the shoes here, and my paces here weren't actually my fastest paces of the day. Alright guys, next up here we have the Vaporfly 3. Now this one was my favorite shoe to run in today, and it's also my favorite plated training shoe. I love the Vaporfly 2. That's what I raced my second half marathon in last year, a 123 PR at the time, and then this is what I raced my last half marathon of the year, and I got a 119.28 PR. So when I first put this on right after the Pro 3, it just felt so much more comfortable underfoot. I don't know what it is with the ZoomX foam, but I just love ZoomX, and this and the Vomero. ZoomX just has this nice soft bouncy cushion feeling, and with the carbon fiber plate in here, I find that it's the perfect balance of cushion and pop. It's the perfect balance of feeling grounded but also fast, and as you're walking along in the shoe, it does not feel natural at all. But what I like is that I can tell that it's going to be a good shoe for running fast because I can feel the ground a little bit in my big toe at the front here, because they really have an aggressive rocker and not too much stack right up under the top of the tippy top of this forefoot. So I was able to dig in pretty hard on these reps in this Vaporfly 3. And another reason it's great is because if you look out here on the back, it has an extension of this foam hanging off the back of the shoe. So for a heel striker like me, that is a really great feature to have. Now, in reviewing some of this footage, I wasn't running with great form for a lot of these. I did a 20 miler on Sunday. I did 14 miles of volume today, and my workout this morning, I think, was 16 to 18 miles of total volume. So I was pretty tired, and I wasn't really lifting my knees a lot in some of these reps. So poor knee drive is going to mean you're not kicking as hard, and it's also going to mean that you're going to be heel striking a little bit more and potentially even overstriding. And it looks like I was overstriding a little bit in some of these reps. So all that is to say that a shoe like this can actually be pretty helpful if you're running when you're tired, because it has a lot of foam in here to protect the legs and to roll you heel to toe when you are heel striking. So this is a shoe that just works really well with my mechanics. Even from the first time I ever ran the Vaporfly 2, I loved it. It's a nice competitor to the Pro 3 for recreational runners, but this is a shoe that seems to work for a lot of people. If you can get your foot inside of this thing, it's going to be a really good option. The one knock that I have against it is if you are bigger, ZoomX can feel a little bit unstructured and a little bit too soft and squirrely, but there are some firmer shoes on the market, and that is where the Alphafly 3 comes in. That's a little bit of a firmer option than this guy. So my last rep in this, I hit my second fastest time of the day, which was a 5:16, but this shoe felt great at all of those paces, and this is still my #1 pick for race day, no matter the distance of the race, unless it's an ultra or off-road. Alright guys, next we have the Takumi Sen here. Now the Takumi Sen was the only non-marathon racing shoe that I threw in here, but because I was trying to go for my fastest paces, I wanted to do one dedicated 5K racer, and that's what we have in the Takumi Sen. So this has a little bit lower stack than all of those shoes, and another key difference here is it's much narrower, and I could really feel that when I was out there running. There's not a lot to land on in the back, and this is a shoe that was forcing me up onto my forefoot, and because of that is the least comfortable and the least friendly for normal everyday running paces of all these shoes. Now I did some track work in the shoe with my boy Cam over the summer, and almost every time where I took this shoe with me, I would bring another shoe, a daily trainer, to do my warm up and cool downs in, because this is just not a comfortable shoe to run in unless you're really optimizing for forefoot landing. So because this was my third set of the day, that was miles 10 to 12 of my morning, so I was getting really fatigued at this point, but I was able to dig in pretty good and hit some decent times in the shoe. I progressed it pretty nicely. I hit a 5:11 on my third rep, and then lost focus a little bit on that last rep there. I hit a 5:40 something, I believe. So great shoe, but you really do need to be running with good form. Unlike that Pro 3 and unlike the Vaporfly, there's not a lot to protect the heel here. So unless you're really driving the knees, which I had a little bit of a mixed relationship with today, this isn't gonna feel great. I ordered these shoes in terms of aggression. This is definitely the second most aggressive shoe, and it's gonna have a little bit of a firmer feel in that Vaporfly. All right guys, last we have the Alphafly. Now the whole purpose of doing this workout today was to test out the Alphafly 5K pace and to see if it changed my mind about the shoe. So in my full review of the shoe, which I will link in the description below, I noted that it was a bit harsh feeling. It wasn't friendly for heel strikers, even though they did smooth out this platform here, and none of that really changed today. So it is still a super fast shoe, but there's trade-offs, right? This is speed at all costs, and it still wasn't comfortable for me even at those 5K paces. And maybe that's because my form doesn't change all that much when I'm running fast. I'm not really running right up on my forefoot, and the lack of a heel extension here like we see in the Vaporfly means that it feels a little bit hard to fight through and get to that forefoot even at fast paces. So looking at my splits here, I was a lot faster than I felt out there, and that's because the shoe does give you a lot of energy return, and it helped me be really efficient out there even as I was completely losing my form. These were miles 12 to 14 of work out there today. This was definitely my best set of all four. I progressed it perfectly. I hit 542 on the first rep, then 532, then I pulled out a 516, which was one of my fastest efforts of the day, and then I closed it out with a 523. I think I mentioned this when we were out there doing the workout, but there is a little bit of an uphill here. So at the end of some of these reps, I was fading pretty good. And a shoe like this makes it a little bit easier to maintain that speed at the end of those reps. And that is something that I noticed. Some of these shoes feel a little bit hard to do pace transitions in and to hold top speed. This is a shoe where I did feel like I could hold the top speed pretty good. Vaporfly is also the second best at that. Once you crank them up and get to that nice working pace, this will just get into a really solid rhythm. That's what a good rocker will do. And with these AirPods here, that little bit of pop and zing you get off the front does make it really nice to get up into that next stride when you are running with strength. So I didn't change my mind too much about the shoe. It's still not going to be great for warming up. It's still not going to be great for cooling down. But if you can hit these sub 6-minute paces and you want something to get a PR in the half marathon, 10K or 5K, this would be a great choice. And if you are a forefoot or midfoot striker and you can hold a 650 or faster pace in the marathon, this is also going to be a good choice. Something about this shoe also works my calf because I'm a heel striker. So again, if you are a heel striker, Vaporfly is going to be a better choice for you. That's still my #1 race day choice. I'm just a little bit too slow for the Alphafly. What can I say? So that was a pretty fun video. Let me know what you want to see with the Alphafly next. Also, let me know what you want to see with any of these other race day shoes that I pulled out. I'm going to do more of these workout style videos, so I'd love to hear what you want to see from me as we grow the channel in 2024. All right, guys, as always, thank you for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video.